morning, everyone. Welcome to today's practice. I hope you're all doing well this Sunday morning. As always with these online classes, if you do have any injuries or anything going on, please be mindful. If anything hurts, I can't see you, so please take it easy and back off. These classes are donation based, so if you are able to, there is a donation link at the side of the screen. Otherwise, let's get started. We might be using a block today. Don't worry if you don't have one, but if you are able to grab a book or something like a block, go ahead. We're going to start in a child's pose today. So big toes to touch, knees nice and wide. Sink your hips down towards your heels and your forehead onto the floor. And don't worry too much if the hips don't quite reach the heels or if the forehead isn't on the floor, but just trying to find a space that's comfortable, that's restful, a space where you can just start to gently deepen your breath. So breathing in and out through the nose. Just taking a few moments to really sink into your mat, letting go of anything that's gone on in your week. Letting go of any physical tension, emotional tension, and just allowing yourself the next 60 minutes to just be completely present. If you haven't done so already, start to connect your Ujjayi breath, that audible sound in and out through your nose. Trying to move towards a full body breath, so breathing not only into your chest, but all the way down into your stomach. And then maybe starting to breathe so deeply that you feel the back of the rib cage, the back of the lungs start to expand as well. Keeping your lower body exactly where it is, walk both hands over towards the right. It's all right if they leave the mat, if they go all the way off the mat towards the right, and you might want to place the left palm on top of the right. If you can, keep your forehead down here, and keep rooting the left seat bone back and down. Come back through center and all the way towards the left. Again, you can leave the mat. You might want to place the right palm on top of the left this time. And as you reach towards the left, really root that right seat bone down. Come back to center. And on an inhale, lift yourself up onto all fours, tabletop. So hands are below the shoulders, knees are hip width apart. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow. Inhale to drop the stomach, arch the back, lift the gaze. Exhale as you tuck the tailbone, press the earth away, chin comes towards the chest. Inhale as you arch, open up. And exhale as you round. Keep moving like this to the speed of your own breath. And feel free to add in any other twist or turn or figure of eight movement here. Maybe close down the eyes, just let your body move wherever it needs to go, feeling where there might be tightness or where you just feel like you want to move this morning. Gently bring yourself to stillness and walk your left fingertips towards the left and your right fingertips towards the right. So the inner sides of the wrists are facing each other. Spread the fingers nice and wide here and then just rock side to side. So just getting into the wrists, starting to wake them up. Make sure you're really pressing down with each fingertip, each knuckle pad, checking in with the thumb, make sure you're pressing down with the thumb. Come to stillness and walk your left fingertips back towards your left knee, your right fingertips back towards your right knee. Now this might be really intense for some of you, so you might want to just stay in stillness. Otherwise, it's a gentle rock backwards and forwards. Try not to rock so far back that the heel of the hand lifts. So you want to keep pressing that heel of the wrist down into the floor as you move. Make sure you keep connected to your breath. Releasing both hands, so bring them back forwards. We're going to take one more little wrist exercise. So turning so the back of the hand is on the floor. Fingertips are facing towards you. Again, this might feel quite intense. If it does, just stay in stillness and breathe. If you want to, if you feel like you can, take it a bit further. Start to open and close your fingers. Keep breathing here. Let's do 3 more, opening and closing. And when you have finished those 3, sit back on your heels and just take a few rotations with the wrist. Maybe shake the hands out a couple of times. Just noticing how that felt. And then when your wrists feel nice and ready, come back to your tabletop. Reach your right arm forwards and kick your left leg back. Pull your tummy button in and up towards your spine. You want to feel nice and secure here. Really press that left hand down. Options to just stay here working on this, or focus your gaze to one spot and start to bend that left knee, reach the right hand back, see if you can grab hold of your left foot. If you have found your left foot, maybe start to kick back into your hands. So we're getting a little bit of a hip flexor stretch here. If you feel really wobbly and shaky, don't worry, just take it nice and slowly. Keep your eyes focused on one spot. If you have hold of your foot, gently let it go, meeting everyone back, right arm forwards, left foot back. Notice what's happened to your breath. Gently come back to center, let's swap sides. Left arm lifts, right leg kicks back. Just finding your foundation here, so pressing down with the shin, the top of that left foot. And then you choose if you stay here or if you reach back in search for that right foot. It might not be quite where you think it's going to be. And then choose if you stay there or if you start kicking back into that left hand. Make sure you're breathing. If you have hold of your left foot, nice and gently release it, meeting everyone back in center, left arm forwards, right leg back. And releasing both hands, both knees down. Take a big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. So your first down dog, I'm sure it's your first down dog of the day. Who knows, maybe the first down dog of the week. So take any movement here. If you need to pedal out the feet, if you need to twist the hips a little bit, maybe see how it feels to bend through the elbows a little bit, really lighten up the shoulders, the arms. If you haven't done so already, bring your dog to stillness. And then walk your feet, take tiny footsteps all the way to behind your wrists, moving nice and slowly here. If you need to bend the knees quite a lot, please do so. And once you get to the top of your mat, take a ragdoll. Opposite hand comes to opposite elbow. Let your head hang heavy. Welcome to keep quite a soft bend in the knees, quite a generous bend in the knees if that feels good. Maybe a little bounce, maybe a little sway. Release your hands. Heel toe your feet together to touch. So your big toes are touching. And on an inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. Exhale to bring your hands together at heart center. And if it's comfortable, close down the eyes. If not, a soft gaze towards the floor. Taking a moment of stillness to maybe set an intention or a dedication for your practice this morning. And with that thought in your mind, gently open up the eyes. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, we fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back, high plank. Drop your knees, untuck your toes, bend your elbows, keeping them close to the body, come all the way down. Open your chest, baby cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Downward facing dog. Always taking a moment in your down dog to see if you need to make any adjustments. Big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, walk, step, or jump to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, rise tall, reach up. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway on the inhale. Exhale, step it back, high plank. Options to drop your knees, come all the way down. If you're ready for your full chaturanga, bend your elbows halfway. Inhale, another up dog or cobra. If you're in up dog, knees are lifted off the floor. Downward facing dog. Soften your knees. Gaze in between your hands as lightly, as softly as you can. Take a little hop, a little jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Inhale, rise tall, reach up. Exhale, folding forwards. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Always the option to drop your knees if you want to. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Check back in with your hands. Can you spread your fingers a little bit more wide on the mat? Press down with each fingertip, each knuckle pad. And as you press the hands down and forwards, lift the tailbone a little bit higher. Full breath in. And as you exhale, feet to hands, walk, step or float. Halfway lift. Fold. Bring your big toes to touch. Bend your knees, chair pose. Sit your hips nice and low. Maybe have a little look down at your toes. See if you can lift the 10 toes off the mat as you sink your hips even lower. Big breath in. Exhale, fold forwards. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Press both feet down. Inhale, we rise up. Warrior two, open out. Really press down with the outer edge of that back foot. And make sure your front knee is guiding towards your baby toe and not your big toe. Keep the bend in the front knee. Flip your front palm and reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat, high to low plank. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale as you rise up. Open out to your warrior two. See if you can keep your gaze focused over your front middle finger. Flip your front palm and reverse. Windmill the arms to the mat. Low plank. Moving with your breath. Inhale brings you to an up dog or a cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here in your down dog. Maybe a big sigh in through the nose. Open the mouth and just let it go. Let's do that once more. Nice big breath through the nose. Open the mouth. Soften knees. Gaze forwards, jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Chair pose, bend your knees, rise up. Fold forwards. Halfway lift. Step it back, high to low plank. Pause in your low plank. Keep the knees, the body lifted in one straight line for 3. For 2. For 1, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale to rise. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, we reverse. Exhale, high to low plank. We're going to hold that low plank again. Holding it here. Keep the tummy pulled in and up for 3. For 2. For 1, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, high to low. We're holding that low plank. If it's too much on the arms, just lower the knees. Hold it there. For 3, for 2, for 1, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Notice what's happening to your breath as we start flowing through the practice a little bit. We start building some heat in our body. And as we go through these repetitive motions, warming our body up for our practice, it's not just about warming the body up, it's about focusing the mind. Bringing that element of discipline into our practice. Big breath in. Exhale it all out, feet to hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Chair pose. Fold forwards. Halfway lift. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forwards, warrior 1. Inhale, rise. Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Low plank. Moving with your breath now. Allow this to be like a moving meditation. Upward facing dog as you inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Left foot forwards, warrior 1. Warrior 2. Reverse. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. Know that if at any point, especially if you're newer to the practice, you can drop your knees and come to a child's pose. Soften your knees, gaze forward, slightly jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold. Bring your feet so they're hip width apart this time and sink into your chair pose. So it feels a little bit different. Try not to let the knees knock in. So you want to have the knees in line with their ankles. Sit your hips nice and low. From here, we're going to do a little bit of mobility work. So lifting up onto your tippy toes, start to drop the knees gently down onto the floor. Coming into this sort of kneeling position. Here, release the hands down. Just lean back. Lean forwards. Sit back onto your heels and then swivel onto your feet so you're back with your feet hip width apart. Chair pose, lift up. You're going to do that 2 more times, don't worry if you got lost. Start to lean the knees forwards as gently as you can. Place the knees on the floor. Bring your hands maybe alongside you or somewhere to help you with your balance. Just lean backwards. Lean forwards. Sit back on your heels, swivel the feet down. Chair pose. Last one like that. Start to bend the knees forwards towards the floor. Let them touch the mat. Sit up. Keeping the body in one straight line. Lean backwards. Lean forwards. Seat bones to heels, feet flat to the floor. Chair pose. Nice work. Fold forwards. Lift halfway. Step it back into your high plank. Feet to touch behind you. Pause in here. Find your breath. Letting go of any thoughts that might be coming up if you found that a little bit challenging, if the hips weren't working for you today. From here, swivel onto the outer edge of your right foot, side plank, right hand down, left arm up. We're going to do this one slightly differently today, so place the sole of the left foot on the floor in front of your right foot. Keep those left fingertips up. Keep the hips reaching up. From here, start to bend both knees, seat bones towards the heels. Lift back up. 2 more times. Bend the knees, seat bones towards the heels. Straighten up. Last one, bend the knees. Straighten them back up. Coming back to your high plank. Breathe in here. Let's do that on the other side. So spinning over, side plank, left hand down, right arm lifts. Right foot comes flat on the floor in front of that left foot. Think about pulling the core in towards the spine, then bend both knees, seat bones towards heels. Lift back up, 2 more. Bend the knees. Straighten them out. Last one, bend the knees. Straighten them back out, spinning over, high plank. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We're going to take 5 breaths here in our down dog. Options to stay in down dog. Drop your knees into a child's pose. Or those of you that are feeling energetic this morning, take a dolphin, coming onto your forearms, maybe walking the feet in a little bit. So 3 options. Listen to your body. What do you feel like doing right now? Whichever posture you're in, just tuning into deep Ujjayi breath. 3 more. Wherever you are, whatever posture you're doing, when you are ready, meeting back in a downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee, open through the hips. So try and keep the shoulders square to the front of the mat here, and really lift that right knee up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. Straighten that right leg back out behind you, and then bring your knee to your nose. Really shift the weight forwards here. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your right armpit, so really high up on that right arm. From here, see if you can lower that right knee towards your wrist. Lift it back up to the armpit. 1 more time like that. Knee down towards the wrist. Lift it back up. Kick that foot back up. We're going to do that on the left side. So bring your right knee to your left armpit. Lower it down to the left wrist. Lift it up to the armpit. Lower it down. Last one, lift it up. Kick back. Bring your knee to your nose. Step it in between the hands. Rise up to your crescent lunge. Taking a moment here. Maybe swivel that back foot further back if you want to deepen the sensations here. Breathing deeply. We're reaching the fingertips up, but don't have the shoulders up by the ears. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Start to lean your torso forwards as you let that back leg just lift up, warrior 3. Reach that left heel backwards. Reach your fingertips backwards. Make sure you're breathing. Start to bend the right knee. Place those left toes back on the mat. Crescent lunge. Find your balance if you lost it. Bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist towards your right, hooking your left elbow over your right thigh. Choose what variation you take with your hands. Either keep hands together at heart center, maybe open the arms, maybe you reach around going for a bind. Whichever variation you're going for, you're really trying to twist the chest up towards the sky. Moving slowly, come back to center. Keeping the bend in that front knee, warrior 2. Flip your front palm, reverse. Extended side angle, right forearm, right thigh. And today we're going to reach left fingertips up and overhead. So almost imagine drawing one line from the left foot to the left fingertips. Keep pressing down equally with both feet here. Options to stay where you are, or reach the right arm forwards too. Pull the core in. Stay with it. For another 5. Keep pressing that back foot down for 4. For 3. 2. 1. Place both hands to frame that front foot on the floor. Step it back, high plank. If you want to go straight to down dog, go ahead. Otherwise, through your vinyasa. Feet to touch, lift the left leg up. Bend the knee, open up the hips. So notice if your left shoulder starts lifting, really try and keep both shoulders facing forwards. See if you can bring that left heel a little bit closer to your seat bones. Straighten that leg back out behind you. Bring your knee to your nose. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your left armpit. Lower it down to the wrist. Lift it back up. Lower it back down. Last one, lift it up. Kick that foot back. Left knee, right armpit. Lower it down to the wrist. Lift it up. Lower it down. Lift it up, kick back. Bring your knee to your nose. Crescent lunge. Don't worry if that left foot lands halfway up the mat. You can use your hands, you can take a few steps to get it up to the top. Rise up. Again, notice if you need to take any adjustments here. If you're a little bit wobbly like me, walk that left foot further towards the left. Maybe see if you can lift your back heel a little bit higher. Breathing deeply. Start to lean the chest forwards. Let that back foot float off the floor, warrior three. Often in our warrior three, your right hip might try to lift up. Try and keep both hips level here. Reach the fingertips back. Feel the shoulder blades sink down the spine. Bend the left knee. Place the right toes on the floor. Crescent lunge. Hands come together at heart center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twisting towards your left. Again, it's that hooking of the elbow on the thigh that's going to help you twist open a little bit more. Choose if you keep palms together. Maybe you open the arms. Maybe you go for that bind. Don't worry if the bind is completely impossible today. That's completely fine. Just breathe into the pose. Keep the back leg switched on. Come back to center, crescent lunge. Warrior two. Reverse on an inhale. Extended side angle, left forearm, left thigh, right fingertips up overhead again. So you'll be tempted here to let the chest sink down towards the floor. Think about reaching the center of the chest up towards the ceiling. Options to stay where you are, or reach that left arm forwards too, so almost like you're reaching forwards for something. Don't forget about the back foot, pressing it down. For 5, for 4, keep breathing for 3, for 2, for 1, release both hands to the mat. Either take a vinyasa or maybe skip it out, meet straight in your downward facing dog, your choice. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and just let it go. Do that again, big breath in. Notice how the body's feeling now compared to at the start of class. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, gaze forward, soften knees, walk, step, or lightly jump to your hands. Lift halfway. Folding forwards. Options to just stay in your forward fold for a few breaths, maybe taking a ragdoll, or it's a crow pose. If you know where you're going in your crow, go ahead and just lift up. Wherever you are, you're breathing. If both feet are lifted, think about reaching the crown of the head forwards. Maybe bring the feet a little bit closer to the seat bones. Hold it for another 3, for 2, for 1. Maybe go for a shoot back into your low plank. Give it a go, see what happens. Take a vinyasa. And when you are ready, there's no rush. We will meet everyone in their ragdoll at the top of their mats. Letting the head hang heavy. Feel free to stay working on your crow for a couple more breaths if that's what you want to do. But maybe you want to have a few moments just chilling out in your forward fold. Allow all the muscles in the face to just relax here. The head is heavy, hanging down towards the floor. Release your hands. And nice and slowly roll your spine all the way up to standing. Take it nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Your head is the last thing to lift. Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip width apart, arms alongside the body, hands facing forwards. If you can here, close the eyes. Think about rooting down with the four corners of both feet. Engage muscles in the legs and have a neutral pelvis, so a gentle tuck of the tailbone. Keep the fingertips spread wide and the shoulder blades are sinking down the spine. See if you can lift the crown of the head so you're standing a little bit taller. Breathe here, coming back to that full body Ujjayi breath that we started the class with. Taking a moment of stillness to just come back to the moment. Power yoga can be a little bit messy, a little bit fast. So it's important to go from that speed, that power that we're creating, that heat we're creating, to this place of calm and stillness. Open up the eyes. Tree pose. Sole of the right foot to the inside of the calf or the thigh. Start with your hands at heart center, find your balance. Focus your gaze on something in front of you and try not to let your eyes move, especially if you're feeling a little bit wobbly today. You can choose if you keep your hands together or maybe open up the arms, grow your tree. If you are feeling wobbly, maybe stay exactly doing what you're doing. Otherwise, maybe bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. If you want an extra challenge here, see what happens if you close your eyes. Notice what happens when we remove one of our senses. And try not to take it too seriously if you are wobbling, dancing, maybe you're falling out of the pose. And if you do fall out, see if you can come back into the pose with your eyes still closed. Noticing if any sensations of frustration as you wobble come up. And then just gently remind yourself it's yoga on a Sunday morning. We don't need to take it too seriously. We're going to transition onto the other side. Options to keep your eyes closed as you do this. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but maybe give it a go. Keeping the eyes closed, transitioning a weight onto your right foot. Maybe you reach down for the left foot and it's not quite where you think it's going to be. Take your time. Enjoy the wobbles. Again, start with hands at heart center, especially if the eyes are closed. It's going to help you ground down. Then choose where you take it. Maybe you open the arms. Maybe you open up the eyes. Who knows? Just do whatever feels right. Maybe the eyes closed is a little bit overwhelming. Or maybe you like the extra challenge. Check back in with the breath. As soon as we start focusing on something else, we often forget about our breath. And let's release both feet down, open up the eyes. If you need to shake anything out, please do. Left hand to left hip, right knee lifts. Open your right knee out towards the right. Reach the left fingertips towards the left. Maybe look over towards your left thumb. Keep lifting the crown of the head and pressing down with those left four corners of the left foot is what I'm trying to say. Moving slowly, come back to center. Let go of your knee, but keep it lifted. Reach both arms up. Straighten your right leg. Can you lift that right foot a little bit higher? But try not to lean back. So often we lean back to sort of lift the foot, but don't worry if the foot is just a few inches off the floor. That's a great place to be. Keeping the right leg straight, swing it back, warrior three, airplane. Hands come together at heart center. If you do have a block, it might be a nice time to use your block. We're going to open out into half moon. So left hand down, right arm lifts. Flex the right toes back towards you to help you with your balance here. Options to stay where you are, or maybe start to bend the right knee, reach back for the right foot. Into your bound half moon. Don't worry if you can't reach it. Stay with it. If you have hold of that right foot, gently let it go, meeting back in your half moon. Can you lift your right leg a little bit higher here? And release both feet down. Lift yourself all the way back up to standing. Nice work. We're going to do that on the other side. Right hand to right hip, lifting up the left knee. Flex the left toes up towards you. And really think about that line of energy. So the right foot presses down, the crown of the head lifts up. Open the leg out towards the left. Right arm reaches towards the right. Maybe gaze comes over the right fingers. Breathing deeply. Nice and slowly come back to center. Keep your knee lifted, reach both arms up. Straighten that left leg. Can you lift those left toes a little bit higher? Warrior 3, swing that foot back. Reach the fingertips back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hands come together at heart center, half moon, right hand down, left arm up. So we're really trying to open through the whole of the front of the body here. Again, choosing if you just stay with this, if this feels like a lot in the hips, or you start to bend that left knee, reach back for the left foot. Don't be surprised if you could do it on one side and you can't do it on the other, or the other way around. Just keep breathing. If you have hold of that foot, gently let it go, half moon. Keep flexing the left toes back towards you. Can you reach your left heel a little bit further back? And release both feet down, this time coming to a forward fold. Interlace your fingers at your sacrum and really let the crown of the head hang heavy. Reach the hands towards the top of your mat. It might feel nice to gently shake the head, yes. Shake it, no. And let's take an inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, flutter the lips. So big breath in. Do that once more. Releasing any tension in the jaw, in the face. Let go of the hands. Bring them down towards the floor. Lift halfway, lengthen through the spine. Step it back into a high plank. Options to drop your knees here or keep them lifted. We're going to take a low plank, high plank, downward facing dog. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Choose if you want to have the knees up or down. But we really want to focus on keeping the elbows close to the body and not letting the shoulders go lower than the elbows. So roll it forwards, high plank. Bend the elbows, low plank. Push the earth away, high plank. Downward facing dog. One more variation on this. Rolling forwards, high plank. Listen carefully this time. Low plank. Upward facing dog. So you're up in your up dog, arms are straight, knees are lifted off the mat. From here, let the chest drop forwards, low plank. High plank. Downward facing dog. Rolling forwards to a high plank, and for a count of 5, knees are up or they're down. We're going to lower down towards the mat. For 5, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, 1. Come to lying on your tummy, one cheek down, arms alongside your body, and just enjoy a few moments of stillness. Let your body feel heavy on the mat. Maybe you can feel your heart beating, so you can slow everything back down. Have your palms facing the floor, big toes to touch, forehead down. Think about pressing the pelvis into the mat, and then lift up locust pose. So lifting as much of your body up off the mat as you can. Maybe as you breathe in, you feel your stomach expand and you lift a little bit higher. How long can you make your body here? One more big breath in. And as you exhale, gently letting go, come all the way back onto the mat. Bring your opposite cheek to the mat to even up the neck. Maybe sway the hips a little bit from side to side. This time, interlace your fingers at your sacrum again, big toes to touch, press the pelvis down, lift up. Notice with this different hand variation how if there's any difference in the sensation in your chest. Can you open it a little bit more? Try not to have your hands resting on your seat bones here, really reaching them up and back. And gently let go and release. Again, it might feel nice to sway the hips from side to side, letting go. We're going to use our blocks for one more little back bend here. If you have a book or a block, great. If you don't, you can just play along pretending you have. If you have one, you're going to place it in between the palms of your hands. So you're not holding on with your fingertips, you're pressing in with your palms as if you're trying to shrink the block. Reach it out in front of you. So if you don't have a block, you're just going to have your hands out in front, imagining that you're squeezing something. Again, press the pelvis down. This time, lift up and take the block with you. Or if you don't have a block, you're just imagining the block. If you've gone for a really heavy hardback book, this is going to be a lot harder for you. Really squeezing the block as hard as you can here. Stay with it. Can you lift the block a little bit higher for 3, for 2, for 1, release, let go of the block. Place your forehead on the back of your palms, so stack the hands on top of each other. And just let the head rest there for a few lovely deep breaths. If you need to sigh it out or take any movement here, please do. But maybe it feels good. Just have a few moments of stillness. Bring your hands along underneath your shoulders, so a little bit lower than your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. From here, we're going to lift up into a high plank. So take a deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, without even thinking about it, just lift up high plank. Downward facing dog. Soften knees, gaze forwards, walk, step or jump all the way through to seated. So from your seated position, you're going to straighten your right leg out in front of you, bend that left knee, so the sole of the left foot is coming to the inside of your thigh. Flex the right toes back towards you. Inhale as you reach up, find length through the body. Exhale to fold forwards. So you can choose if you have your hands resting on your shin, your ankle, maybe they wrap around the sole of your foot. For any of you with a lot of space in your hamstrings, you might even grab your book or your block again and reach around the back of that, sort of, I think you can see it, around there. But don't worry if your hands are around your knee and you're just working on leaning forwards. Just checking in, maybe you feel like you've got a little bit more space in your hamstrings, your lower back, now that your body is quite a lot warmer. And maybe taking a little bit of gentle movement here. So as you inhale, see if you can find a bit more length through the spine. And as you exhale, you fold a little bit deeper. So inhale, you lengthen. Exhale, folding a little bit deeper. And let's slowly lift all the way back up to seated, keeping this left knee bent. Place the sole of the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Check that you're sitting up nice and tall, equally on both seat bones. Wrap your right elbow around that left knee, pull it in towards you. You might already start feeling something in your left glute as you pull your knee in towards you. Sit up nice and tall, and then we're going to take a twist towards the left. So twisting towards the left fingertips come onto the floor behind you. Try not to lean back into this twist. The fingertips on the floor behind you are just there to help guide you. Sit up as tall as you can here. It might feel a little bit more restricted breathing, this full body breath when you twist. But do your best to find space in the ribcage here. And slowly coming back to center, taking a counter twist. So both hands come onto the floor towards the right. Just taking a nice little counter twist here. And coming back to center, let's do that on the other side. So straighten the left leg out. Sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the thigh. Check in that you're right on both seat bones, take any movements you might need. Then reach up, find length. Fold forwards. Wherever your hands comfortably rest, not forcing anything, so maybe your knee, shin, ankle, sole of the foot. Again, by all means, grabbing your block or your book if you want to take it that little bit further. If you like the gentle movement with your breath, go ahead and inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rounding, folding deeper. But if you prefer to just stay in stillness, by all means, just maybe even closing the eyes and really focusing on breathing in and out here. Slowly lifting yourself up. Place the sole of that right foot to the outside of the left thigh. Checking both seat bones are grounding down. Left elbow wraps around the right knee. Pull that knee in towards you. Start to open up gently through that right glute. Start to twist towards your right. So right fingertips are gently placed on the floor behind you. Again, coming back to that line of energy, so always thinking about the part of you pressing down. So here, it's the seat bones pressing down, crown of the head lifting up. And slowly coming back through center, taking that counter twist, both hands towards the left. Just allowing the untwist, should feel really nice. And then coming back to center, you might want to lean backwards a little bit, shake out both of the legs here, especially if they're feeling a little bit tight, a little bit tired. And then open the legs nice and wide. If you do have a block, or if you know you're quite tight, you might want to sit on your block just to lift the hips slightly. Choose, if you just stay where you are, if you've got a lot going on, we've worked our legs quite hard today, so they might be feeling a little bit hot and tired. So if you feel a lot sitting upright, just stay here, close down the eyes. Only if you want more, you can either lean forwards, grab hold of your toes, or have your hands on the floor in front of you, just starting to guide your forehead, your chest onto the floor in front of you. If you can, keep flexing the toes back towards you. Even if you're folding forwards, trying to keep the spine nice and straight here. It's really easy to start sinking into the lower back, rounding the shoulders. So imagine a string coming out of the crown of your head and someone's pulling on that string, keeping you upright. If you are folding forwards, lift yourself back up and bend your knees, bring them in towards your chest, and nice and slowly rolling all the way back onto your back. You might want to hug the knees in towards your chest, give yourself a little squeeze. We've stretched our hamstrings and our lower back quite a lot today, so you might want to rock a little bit side to side, massaging it out. And then straighten your legs up towards the ceiling. You might want to place your hands underneath your seat bones here to sort of tilt the pelvis. It might help. Keep the head and shoulders relaxed on the floor. If you need to keep a bend in the knees, go ahead, but try and keep the legs as straight as you can. Relax the face, the jaw. And then lower the feet down towards the floor by a third. Check back in with your face, your shoulders, not tensing anything. Lower your feet down by another third. If you can, keep pressing the lower back down into the floor. Bring your feet so they're 2 inches off the floor. Take a little look at your toes. Give them a wiggle, and then lift your feet all the way back up. We're going to do that again. Lower your feet down by a third. Keep breathing. By another third. Bring your feet 2 inches off the floor. Take a look at your toes. Give them a really big wiggle and then lift your feet all the way back up. Let's do one final one. Lower your feet down by a third. Soften your face, maybe even a little smile to your lips if you can. Lower your feet down by another third. Ujjayi breath. Feet 2 inches off the floor. This time, look at your toes, swing them like a pendulum from left to right. For 3, for 2. Last one, lift your feet all the way back up and hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze, maybe rocking slightly from side to side. Happy baby, grab the outer edges of both feet, pull your knees in towards your armpits. You might want to stay in stillness, or rocking might feel good. Let go of both feet. We're going to take a little inversion now. We're not going to be up there for that long, but if you do have headstand, handstand, forearm balance, and you want to take a quick one of those, by all means, go ahead. If you're next to a wall, you might want to just lift your feet up against the wall. Otherwise, you're staying with me and going for a shoulder stand. So if you're going for a shoulder stand, starting in plow pose by kicking your feet over your head, try and have the toes touching the floor. If you need to bend the knees here, by all means do. Hands come to lower back, and nice and slowly lift the feet up. So you want most of the weight here in your upper arm bones. So really pressing them down. You want to feel quite secure with your hands, so your upper body feels quite relaxed. If there's any pain or sensation in the neck, try and make a sort of change to what you're doing, because we shouldn't be feeling this one in our neck at all. You might want to just keep the legs in stillness, or if you feel like moving them around a little bit, please do. If you are staying with me, start to bend the knees. Bring them down to either your forehead or your ears. Pausing here. Bring your hands alongside the mat. And you're going to use your hands as brakes. So we're going to move really slowly to release this one. No crash landing. Start to roll your spine one vertebrae at a time along the mat. So it's really tempting to just let yourself sort of flop out of that one. But if you can, do it with control. Wherever you are, whichever inversion you were doing, coming and meeting everyone lying on their backs. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Give it a nice big squeeze. Left leg is straight out on the mat. And let your right knee fall towards the left for a spinal twist. Right arm opens towards the right. Gaze is also towards the right. Your left hand might rest on your right thigh, your right knee, to help sort of deepen this twist. But if you can, really think about grounding both shoulders down. And in these last few moments of our practice, really trying to keep your Ujjayi breath strong. Allow your mind to be focused on that. And coming back through center. Swap sides. Left knee comes in. You might even shift your hips slightly towards the left to give it this linear squeeze. And then let your left knee fall towards the right. Left arm opens. Gaze is over the left fingers. Coming back to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Lift your forehead up towards your knees. Make everything as small and as tight as possible. So really squeezing everything into a tiny little ball. Take a big inhale through the nose. Hold it at the top. Exhale it out through the mouth. Let go of the arms. Let go of the legs. Come to lying on your back. Let the feet fall open. Arms are open. Palms facing the ceiling. Take any final adjustment you need. And then coming into your final rest, Shavasana. Gently start to deepen your breath. Bring some small movement to your fingers, your toes. Just starting to wake your physical body back up. Let your head roll from left to right. And then reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position, pausing here. And then nice and slowly, with little efforts, make your way up to a seated or a kneeling position. Hands come together at heart center and your eyes are closed. Taking a moment to close your practice this morning, close your week this morning by bringing to mind someone or something that you're grateful for right now. And with that thought in your mind, lift your thumb knuckles up to your forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed class. Let me know if you have any questions, requests, feedback. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday ahead. I'm back live tomorrow lunchtime. See you soon. Thank you.